Welcome back. So now we are in part three where we will discuss advanced techniques and refinement. So this is where we will take your prompts from good to absolutely brilliant. Let me let you in on a secret. Your first attempt at a prompt will usually get you about 70% of the way there. And that's absolutely fine. The magic actually happens in the iteration. So your second attempt will refine and improve what you got the first time. And then your third attempt will often give you exactly what you need. So here is how to iterate effectively. So you try your prompt, you see what comes back, and then you look at what is missing or what could be better. Maybe the tone isn't quite right, or you need more specific examples, or the structure could even be better. Then you add specific feedback. This is good, but make it more conversational, or you can tell it to add three specific examples of what this looks like in practice. The AI is brilliant at taking feedback, and it can adjust as well. So don't think of your first prompt as a failure if it doesn't give you exactly what you want. Think of it as the first draft in a collaborative process. I often have my best conversations with AI when I'm going back and forth. So we are refining and improving together. Now, let me save you some frustration by sharing the most common pitfalls I see and how to fix them. First is being too vague. So at times you just say, make it better. But that doesn't give the AI anything to work with. So instead, it's important that you're specific. So you're saying, make this more engaging by adding personal stories or shorter paragraphs. Second, information overload. So some people think that when they include every possible detail, they're giving better information. But too much context can actually confuse the AI. So it's important that you focus on the three to four most important pieces of content, context, I mean. Third, expecting mind reading. The AI doesn't know your business, it doesn't know your industry conventions, it doesn't know your personal preferences unless you tell it. So it's important that you always provide context about your situation and what applies to you, what matters to you. And here is one that catches a lot of people, assuming that AI knows what you mean by words like professional, engaging, or user friendly. These words mean different things to different people. So it's important that you either define them or give examples. Now, let me share some advanced power techniques that can really elevate your results. First is chain of thought prompting. Add, think through this step by step to your prompts. You know what this will do? It will encourage the AI to break down complex problems into smaller steps, and it will end up giving you much better results because it can reason better with that breakdown it has done. The second one is multi-perspective, as a multiple perspective. You can say something like, give me three different approaches to this problem. So you're simulating stakeholder perspective to the problem. It's more like saying, What would my team members think about this? What do you think my boss would say to this? Or you could just say, what would a marketing director and a customer service manager each say about this? This will help the AI give you well rounded insights. Let me share an example of both chain of thought prompting and multiple perspective. So let's go to our chat GPT, which we're using as our preferred LLM. Here, let's have a new chat and then I'll paste this. So if we look at this, we first of all give it context. Our client invoicing process currently takes 5 days from project completion to invoice sent. Think through this systematically. First, map out each step in our current process and identify where delays typically occurs. Then research best practices for professional services billing workflow. Next, design an improved process that could reduce this timeline to 2 days. Finally, create an implementation plan with timeline, training needs, and potential obstacles. So now let's submit and let's see how it brings out the results for us. Can you see how it's actually breaking it down step by step, just like we said? So it's doing first, then, and then, the audit we said it should do, it's doing it already. We said that it should, map out our process and identify where delays occur. It has done that. Then it's looking at the best practices, and then it has proposed a revision to 2 days. Can you see that? So this is exactly how the you know chain of thought prompting will help you get much better reasoning from AI. Now let's try the multiple perspective style so that we can see how that works as well. So let me use a customer. So I'll use two examples. I'll start with a business strategy decision. And then, so this is what a multiple perspective technique looks like, prompting technique. So we're considering expanding our graphic design agency from 3 to 8 over the next year. Give me this analysis from three different perspectives. What would a financial advisor say about the risk and requirements? What would an operations manager say? What will the business coach say? Include specific recommendations from each perspective. So you're getting a well rounded result when we submit. We can see how it has actually given us the perspectives, from the different angles we asked it to look through. And then it's giving us the operations one. And then the business coach. What more do we need? It's giving us a 360-degree view of our decisions and the things we are considering to do. Quite interesting, I would say. Now, let's go to the third power technique, which is constraints adding. So sometimes we see that limitations spark creativity because we are giving it less to work with. It's able to give us more. So we're saying something like, do this, but you can only use words that a 12-year-old would understand, or a fifth grader. A fifth grader would understand. Or you're saying, create a marketing plan, but you can't use any traditional advertising. So you're giving it a task, but you are giving it the limitations as well, the boundaries it shouldn't cross. You will get absolutely good results from this. So let's try one and then see what results we get. Um, okay, this one is basically about a marketing campaign, but we're saying that we don't want any complicated words. We want something that a 12-year-old would understand. And we also asked for specifics. We said we wanted three social media posts, one email subject line, and one website headline. So this is what the constrained type of technique looks like. Let's submit. Can you see it's really working with what we have said? No confusion here, no complicated grammar and all. And it has given us three posts already. So this is what that will look like in reality. Now, let's go to the fourth one, which is format specification. And here, what happens is that we will be very specific about how we want our output to be structured. So we're saying something like, present this as a table with three columns. Or we're saying, give me this as a story with dialogue. Or something like, structure this as bullet points with sub bullet points. Basically, explaining to the AI how we want our results to look like. We don't want it all over the place. Give me a table, give me a markdown format, give me all that can actually, we can get the best of results from that. And if you want to take it a step further, you can actually give it how many items you want per, let's say, bullet point. Let's try that example so that you see what I'm talking about. So now let's go to a new page. So here we're trying to design a project out handover document for when we complete websites for clients, and we've told it per item, this is what we want. Per bullet point, this is what I want. I want 10 items per, as in, I want 10 items in my pre-launch checklist. Then the timeline, I want it done hourly. So you're giving me things that will be done on an hourly basis. And then I listed it like that. So let's submit and see what response we will get. Can you see? So it gave us the 10 items. It did the hourly breakdown of our timeline. The task for the next 48 hours, it put it there. And then, the schedule, the training schedule, and everything. So, everything we wanted, it gave to us. And that's because we stated it clearly the format we wanted it to give us our output. So, this is how detailed AI can be if we let it. I hope you heard my point. If we let it, because is whatever you wanted to give to you, that it will give to you. It will work within the instructions you present to it. So these techniques I've shared help you to become more creative, and then you get creative, thorough, and precisely formatted results. Now, it's time for your final challenge. So I want you to take this basic prompt and transform it using everything you have learned so far. So the basic prompt is help me with social media. And your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to apply the CLARE framework. Choose the right prompt type and use at least one advanced technique. This is where everything comes together. So spend about 5 minutes creating your transformed prompt. This will be a chance to show yourself how much you've learned in the last 30 minutes. Remember, there is no pressure to be perfect here. This is about applying what you've learned so far and seeing the transformation for yourself. So pause the video, take your time, and I'll see you back here in a few minutes. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the challenge. Let me show you one possible transformation. So we started with help me with social media, and here is what it could become. As a social media strategist with 10 years experience, help me create a content calendar for my handmade jewelry business. I need 30 days of posts for Instagram and Facebook, targeting women aged 25 to 45 who appreciate unique, sustainable fashion. Think through this step by step. First, suggest post types. Then, create a weekly theme structure. Finally, give me 5 sample posts. Make them personal and authentic, like this example, and then you'd include an example post that you love. Can you see the transformation? We've got role expertise, clear context about the business, specific length requirements, defined audience, advanced chain of thought technique, and space for an example. Now, your version might look completely different from mine, and that's brilliant. The key here is that you've moved from vague to specific, from generic to targeted. This is the difference between getting random social media advice and getting a tailored strategy for your specific business and audience. Now, learning is one thing, but applying what you've learned is where the real magic happens. So, let me give you a 30-day action plan to help you become a prompt engineering pro. So, week one, practice the CLARE framework on 3 different business tasks. It could be writing an email, creating a presentation, or solving a problem. But just focus on getting comfortable with the framework. Week 2, experiment with all 6 prompt types. So try instructional, creative, analytical, conversational, role based, and chain prompts. The idea is for you to see which one feels most natural for your work. Week 3, play with the advanced techniques and iteration. Try chain of thought prompting, ask for multiple perspective, add constraints, be specific about formats, and then practice going back and forth to refine your results. And then week 4, create your personal prompt library. We're going to be giving you a prompt library, but it's important that you create yours as well. So you can save the prompts that work well for you, modify it, adapt them for different situations, and start building your own collections of go to formulas. So by day 30, you'll be amazed at how natural this feels and how much time you're saving every week. So let's recap what you now have in your toolkit. You know the 6 prompt types and which tool to use for which job. You've got the clear framework as your formula for brilliant prompts. You understand iteration techniques and how to refine and improve your results. You've learned power techniques for advanced strategies, especially when you're dealing with complex tasks. You also know the common pitfalls and how to avoid those frustrating mistakes. This isn't just theory, these are practical tools that you can start using immediately. Whether you're writing emails, creating content, solving problems, or planning projects, you now have everything you need to have much more effective conversations with AI. And remember, this is a skill that gets better with practice. The more you use these techniques, the more naturally or the more natural they become. Remember that journey assessment that we did. Remember that journey assessment we did at the beginning. Let's check in on it so that we can see where you are right now. So, if you started as a complete beginner, now you're getting started with solid foundation. And if you were getting started at the time, now you're developing real skills. If you were developing, you are now growing in confidence. And if you were already growing in confidence, you're well on your way to becoming a prompt engineering pro. Look how far you've come in just an hour. You've learned frameworks, techniques, and strategies that some people take months to figure out through trial and error. And this is just the beginning. Every conversation you have with AI right now, from now on, is an opportunity for you to practice and improve these skills. As we wrap up, I want you to remember something important. Prompt engineering isn't about being perfect from day one. It's about being curious and experimenting. It's about being curious and experimenting. It's about learning from what works and what doesn't. It's also about applying these tools to real business challenges and building confidence with every conversation. Your AI assistant is ready when you are. It's patient, it doesn't judge, it's available 24/7 to help you practice and improve. So start small, be curious, and don't be afraid to experiment. Try the CLARE framework on something simple today. See how it works, see how it feels. Then work your way up to more complex prompts as you get more comfortable. Remember that every expert was once a beginner, and the only difference between someone who's brilliant at this and someone who's not is practice and persistence. You've got this. So go ahead and create something brilliant. Before you go, make sure you download your CLARE framework cheat sheet. It's very perfect to keep by your side when you're having those your practice sessions. Then grab your 30-day prompt challenge workbook to keep you motivated and on track. If you'd like to connect with more, as in other people on the same journey, join our prompt engineering community. And when you're ready to dive even deeper, consider enrolling in our AI for Business masterclass and workshops. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. And here is to your prompt engineering success. I can't wait to see what you create. Bye for now.